Welcome back to our twin flame update. Yes, we are here to have a look at what the energy. Now, if you wish to join our YouTube membership, we do go down the rabbit hole with coaching to get us the best out of ourselves from our spiritual energy, especially because this month is quite a pivotal point for those on their twin flame path. That is because we do have Mars in the house of Aries, Venus in the house of Taurus, lots of changes happening. We are initially in the first 2 weeks going through a recovery zone, and we do have the Lovers as the crowning energy, which is really coming off quite positively at this point in time. So there can be a lot to do with love that we're thinking about, a lot to do with those Venusian energies, a lot to do with healing and transforming ourselves. A lot of us can be kicking habits, and some of us can even be going into them. There also can be this passionate energy occurring because we do have Pluto station not quite retrograde yet. It does take a while to kick up some speed. So we can feel we're kind of in a dark zone at this point in time. And so those scorpionic energies can really be playing out at this point, which can be feeling a protectiveness inside ourselves, feeling that desire, feeling a need and a desire to connect to somebody. And we can be, to a degree, wanting to lower our guards, but at the same time, super protective of ourselves. And now we'll look at the overall energy before we get into it. A big warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us tonight for our live update. Now, I'm noticing from the cards, within the connection, you may have found looking back on things, it's almost like you were hitting a stumbling block. And within the joint connection, I do feel this is something that is going on between both parties. It's almost like I can't say pit stops, almost like doors closing, feeling there's always something cropping up, feeling there's something that is inevitably really bringing this connection to its doomsday, so to speak. It's almost like there's always something. And I think this has been incredibly frustrating. This also is where, from a Neptunian phase, it's like we're trying to look at the impossible and see how, from a very practical point of view, we can make it a possibility. What steps directly can we take in our own individual lives within our twin flame path, wherever we are, be it we're in communication, be it we're in non-communication, wherever we are on that journey, what directly can we do today to actually make that happen? I do feel there's been a lot of healing, and I'm looking to the past position here, and it's almost this disbelief. A lot of us, when we are looking at these things, the changes happening, it can feel almost that these things sometimes can be impossible. The other thing I can see, especially from this position in the past, we'll move this up so we can see the past position because that's your outcome, and I'll discuss that in a moment. The past position is really making us think that maybe this is impossible, maybe this is not possible. But this is going to the past position. So there is going to be some hope that's returning. And we have had some pretty heavy hitting astrology over April. So like I mentioned, we are in that recovery zone. A lot of us can feel very fatigued. We can feel slightly disillusioned and away with the fairies. But the dream state, the Venusian energy, is coming back, and divine feminine is going through her spiritual rebirth at this point in time. I do think these situations that were blocking you are going to the past. And as we move ahead in the heart space, it's funny, this was something that really came up for me, both within my client consults and spiritually, as well as within my own twin flame path. Really recognizing the ego, and it's heart-centered. We do have the pride energy in the energy of love. Can we forgive? Yes, we can. Are we going to be more cautious? Yes, I feel we will be. Could this be happening within both masculine and feminine? Yes, I do feel so. I feel it's coming in the emotional center. It's coming in the sector where both parties do want to forgive. Both parties also do want a new beginning, but there could be some apprehension to do with rejection here. There's also a feeling as though something is coming in quite quickly. It's almost the spiritual urgency. Sometimes this can come about in a fashion when we're sensing that an individual is thinking about us or something is pending. There's this frequency that something's changing very quickly. And this is actually one of those months where you will quite significantly see this happen, where you are 1 minute up, you're 1 minute down. 1 minute the path is going down one particular road, the next minute it's moving in another fashion. And this can be a little bit unhinging for the best of us. So we may need to be patient with ourselves. We may also feel that a lot is going to be coming at us in the weeks coming. But there also can be a spiritual urgency that something is happening very quickly. I do think this is positive. I do think in the long run, this is going to be something positive. If you are getting some instinctual energies, especially those of you that are divine feminine, you could be guided at this point in time. All of a sudden, your attention can be drawn in a particular location. And I feel your guides are trying to give you some hunches and messages to prepare certain areas of your life, to transform certain areas of your life. And it's almost like a preparation landing zone. It's the connection coming in, but it's the preparation of knowing what needs to shift, what's moving around. And so trust your guides, trust your instincts with this, because I do feel they're trying to give you signs and synchronicities. We also could be doing a little bit of shadow work where it does come to our dream state. And it's extremely common for these frequencies to come up when we are quite stumbled, especially when you do look at the heart space. We have the pride energy, which is the ego. If we do feel quite perplexed by our journey, spiritually what can happen is our guides can come in and they can actually help us. And it's quite funny. It's almost like having conversations with Gaia. You know, why is this happening? Give me a sign. Is there something I need to adjust? Is there something I'm spiritually missing here? Like, what am I picking up here? And so, you know, if this is something that you spiritually are going through at this point in time, I do feel that your guides are coming in to help you and support you. And I do feel spiritually a lot of you, both the masculine and the feminine, are actually going through a huge upgrade. And it's quite accelerated, but it's going to be in 3 particular areas of your life. This is really funny that this is coming up at a foundation level. Had a candid chat with a soul tribe member. And, you know, we have been going down the rabbit hole to do with purpose. And one thing that really, you know, we get to these points in our ascension where it's quite heavy and we're quite in the thick of it. We barely can function. And this has been a frequency that a lot of people have had of late, where you may have felt that nothing was manageable. You might get one certain chore done, one certain thing, and then you get to another and you just can't cope. I feel there's almost this desire to find something quite positive, something quite purpose-driven, something quite personal for self. I also feel some of you also could be thinking, you know, what is the purpose of the twin flame path? What is the purpose of, at stages it can be the separation? What is the purpose going to be once both parties reunite? Because initially you have a very set ideal of what it's going to look like. And it can be something quite traditional, even though the connection as per se isn't quite traditional. There is going to be a purpose for the things that you both individually are going through, and it's actually going to match up, and you're going to find that the flow of your energy in the joint connection is going to work a lot more effectively than what it has of the past. So these impossible things, these walls are actually breaking down, and it is upgrading you. It's giving, although we don't look at it at the time with our purging, our ascension, with our transformations and our personal experiences, they are almost like a toolkit helping you for your future reconciliation energy. And it is going to be something where both parties are going to be at the same table, really looking at life extremely differently. You could, okay, a song could be coming through for Divine Feminine. It could be a message that your guides are giving you from your counterpart. The song could be quite, what could I say? Synchronistic. It could be something that is quite subliminal, but it's definitely coming through in a sense of a song. This could be a song that you both shared and it comes on the radio. Yes, it could come on YouTube, but it's just sort of turning up. It's turning up. You also could be asking your guides to give you music, lyrics as a synchronistic message. There is an apprehension, I feel, and this apprehension, and both parties here in the mix are wondering, are we going to have the courage to actually, and I don't necessarily feel it's to love. I feel it is to jump in the deep end and to feel that things are going to be okay. We can have this apprehension. I do feel at the moment the problem can be that both parties are kind of working through those dynamics. I do feel it is a lot to do with the scorpionic kind of energy coming through, both with the shadow of the moon that we're going to be having, which is going to be a new moon on the 8th, and also, which is a rebirth for divine feminine. So be prepared for that. Try to keep grounded. It is going to be heart chakra activation, and there is going to be a lot of peace that's going to restore inside your heart chakra. Can it come through in a purge? It can. But it is to be open to be receiving these subject matters. So receiving of love, receiving of connections, marriages, contracts, partnerships, being in the open of this, to be in the yin and yang and seizing the opportunities. Because I really think this is quite positive, but you could be second guessing yourself. I feel your instincts where it does come to romance. You could feel maybe this person is holding back. Maybe this person is not going to have the courage, and this could be you really second guessing it and feeling maybe you need to do something. But ultimately, I do feel it's this month that we physically can have some movement in the energy of communication, especially where it does come to the twin flames. So if it has been very stale, very stagnant, if it's been quiet, this can be the activation where movement's coming. Even though for divine feminine, they physically are looking at it saying, I don't think this person's going to have the courage. We're going to move back in a moment, and we will be clarifying after we get the interpretations that my guides are giving me. Okay, as for direction, a lot of you are going to feel a little bit in the dark because, like I mentioned, we are going through an upgrade. So it's almost like, okay, what direction am I going? What direction is this? You're not wanting to be in the ego of it, but you feel quite uncertain. You feel quite confused. This can be other opportunities coming. And you feel that some of these things are taking an awful long time. But I do particularly feel it is because of our previous transits. And I know a lot of this energy has been playing out since 2020. We did, as I mentioned, back in 2017, have a lot of twins in communication. There has been a spiritual upgrade that divine feminine had been going through over the last few years, and you will reap the rewards of those seeds. But this also is the grand awakening for divine masculine. There's a lot of upgrades happening inside their lives. And I definitely do think this month is an opportunity for doors to open. But the heart chakra is going to need to be open. And I do directly feel that divine feminine here in the mix of this joint connection is really looking at it. And, it will be super critical to be aware of the heart and the head decisions. Some of these things can be purging situations out. You're aware of the sacrifices you made. You're aware of the circumstances you've been through. And there is this rebirth of divine feminine in a very beautiful, positive way. Okay, so you're concerned about things not changing as quickly as you would like, even though from an intuitive thing, you can be becoming impatient and frustrated, which is completely natural. So the outcome energy. This is frustrating you. Okay, this is really frustrating you. You're like, this is not changing overnight. Although your intuitive energy is something is happening quickly. So we're going to go back and we're going to dive deeper into how these things playing out and if there's any additional messages. Okay, what do we need to know about? Oh, that just jumped out. That cracked me up. Wow. I was just about to go, you know what? We're going to go look at the crowning energy. We're just going to bounce back and look at the crowning energy. It just literally popped out, and it's faithfulness. Okay. Now, the question I was going to ask, is there a situation here where potentially divine feminine is choosing to go in a different direction? And that's not to say that you can't. You do tend to come back because there's unfinished business with Tia. That's generally the way it goes. However, in this circumstance, what I'm saying is it's almost like you know to a core you have a commitment to this person. That has never been the question. Your question has been, does this person have that commitment for you? I'm going to pull one more clarify. Those that are in a karmic relationship, what do we need to know about this circumstance, please? And again, if you do need a personal booking, you can go to the link directly below. Well, okay, the karmic energy has made this individual quite unwell, quite run down. They are aware it's unhealthy. And these things do need to happen in order for lessons to be learnt. And it does appear to be this is something that's very heavily on their mind. Okay. So these are possible things for both masculine and feminine. I feel masculine's even looking at these circumstances, especially those that, you know, have spent a great deal of time dreaming about divine feminine, dreaming the dream, but not living the dream. Yeah, they're realizing this is possible. This is something that they feel. It is within the realm of their power to change this. It's a positive thing. Even those that are in a karmic relationship, they are having a revelation that it's something they need to address, and they do need to put this in the past. Okay, what do we need to know about the heart space? Yeah, they do feel that they had a lot of healing to do. They also do wish to heal this circumstance with you, but they're making a reference to the fact that hurt people. So it was like they needed to have this kind of change in perspective. They know and understand the frustration. They are also within their own emotions very frustrated with the time it has taken them. At times, they also feel quite critical of them as a divine masculine, and they mark their energy against the wealth of energy they can give to others. Okay, how is this changing, please? Yeah, okay. I think the communication, I think there's some information coming through to them, but I also feel there could be some communication. It could be coming in at the right time. This can be that divine feminine is reaching out or vice versa, but I definitely see communication. It's something that they feel is quite heartfelt. So for those of you that did send a message, they're making a reference to they felt it was quite heartfelt. They also feel that you're incredibly patient and waiting. For those that didn't, they're also making a reference point that they feel that they're feeling impatient. They want to communicate. It's actually making them want to communicate with you. They're re-going back over messages, re-going back over thoughts. They're wondering if this is upsetting you. Yeah, they're really up in their heads. Their guides are actually communicating like no tomorrow with them. This is a lot of information they're getting. They feel this urgency, especially where it does come to things that they need to leave in the past. Okay. Wow. Okay, they're really, really thinking about the future with you. This could be looking back on happy times, looking back on hopes and dreams, things that they want to do with you. And they do feel at times they're quite blessed that they do have this connection with you that is far beyond a romantic, intimate connection. It's actually a friendship. They find you to be quite an honourable human being. They know they need to have more courage. They know they need to fight for what they want. For some, they could be having an issue at work. This could be a change. They're being very critical on themselves. It's not the be all and end all. There could be 3 friends that are going to help them with this situation. They could have 3 direct ideas to actually transform this situation into a solution. Hmm. They're also making reference to the fact that others have not been as supportive to them. They're making reference to some toxic individuals that were in their life that have actually caused a lot of issues for them in the here and now. So these can be previous karmics, okay? This could have been a family member, it could have been a co-worker, could have been a job situation, but it's very much, very strongly, they're making the reference point to the fact this is a very old situation. This old situation is in the here and now something that is a bit of a bugbear for them, not because they have an emotional connection to that individual. I think it's because it's affected their lifestyle, their ability to be free, so to speak. But they're cleaning it up, they're tidying it up. I do feel there's some bounty coming their way. This can be from that point of view. It's a waiting game, but it feels it's very close to the door. This is something that they are getting help and support with. They also feel that certain individuals have been quite pushy with them, and this is something that they're backing off from. Okay, what do we need to know about the outcome? They may need to know. I think this is a situation where this person is putting a great deal of pressure on themselves. They're thinking about the dynamics. You could be picking up on it psychically. They're thinking on something and where they're wanting to be, where they feel they should be. They're not where they want to be. This also does relate to the joint connection. Now, could this be where they want to live, where they want their wealth to be, what they want to provide for you, how they want love to look like? I'm hearing the term collapsing doors. They're also making a reference point to the fact that, some of these things are better off shared. Some of these turmoils that we go through, we kind of feel we're very alone with them and that we're the one that has to fix things. And this has been a pattern that divine masculine has had in previous connections. This is due to a fact that when we do attract a karmic into our life, they can be extremely codependent. And so this is a pattern that this individual, through the connection with you, is going to learn that teamwork is the name of the game. And I feel it could be something as slight as an olive leaf. It could be something that you communicate with them through your third eye, that this can be resolved as a team. It does not need to be resolved alone. And I do directly think it's within the connection that both parties here are going to work it out. But I feel that this person here is really thinking about, how do I articulate these circumstances and frustrations? How can I look at this perspective of this situation differently so I can get to my divine feminine? This could be a time where this is a turning point for the joint connection, but you also may start to become aware of what those circumstances are. I hope to see you next week. I hope you enjoyed the update. I'd love to hear your feedback as to how these circumstances have been playing out for you. If you do get communication, share with the community. We'd love to hear how it plays out for you. Take care, and I'll see you next week.